What's going on, everyone? So the San Antonio Spurs really need to do a better job of sharing the basketball as well as stopping and limiting the turnovers. Spurs have, Castle has been very turnover prone. I'm willing to be patient with him. It's year two, his youth and experience, right? Hope that cleans up. But in general, right? Like the team as a whole, got to stop. You can't have more turnovers than you have assists, right? You look at the Phoenix Suns game, that's what happened. 19 turnovers, 17 assists, right? The old school Spurs, right? It's boring basketball. It's this, that, and the other. Yeah, but it was winning and it was successful. And, it spun off different variations from the Warriors and all that stuff. And obviously, look, Mitch Johnson isn't Greg Popovich, but you still have Greg Popovich there, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with putting your pride aside. Be like, hey, how do I instill ball movement a little more, especially right now? You don't have Castle, you don't have Dylan Harper, you don't have Victor Wembanyama, right? De'Aaron Fox, he's a point guard, all-star level point guard, but he's always been more of a two guard than a point guard, right? Like he's a guy that can make plays, but is he a guy that you trust to just shred a team with his playmaking, right? You look at guys like Cade Cunningham, LeBron James, James Harden, right? Like these guys, right? Even Luka Doncic, right? Like, Tyrese Halliburton, right? Like they can beat you alone just with their playmaking, just with their abilities, right? And you don't have that, right? Like, but we've seen them be able to solve the lack of a Chris Paul type, because you see the movement, the ball movement, keeping defenses on their toes. The Spurs, you see a lot of isolation. You see a lot more, modern basketball in a lot of ways, but particularly right now. It's different when you have Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle and, you got those playmakers and their ball handling and all that stuff. It's different when you basically are reliant on De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox is the guy that has to make the plays and do everything, right? He had 3 assists last game. It's not going to cut it. Right, your second leading assist man was Harrison Barnes, who's not a point guard. He's your swing man, right? Like you need to find ways to better, move the basketball. Keep defenses on their toes. Don't bail out the defense by knowing hey, you're not going to pass the I don't need to worry about you passing the basketball. You look at the Hawks game, 26 points, 9 assists. Right, that's the De'Aaron Fox we need. I'm not saying he has to necessarily average 9 assists or anything like that, but just getting the ball movement, keeping things in order. You look at that game, 10 turnovers, 34 assists. 34 assists, right, to 10 turnovers. And what do? You put up 135. You gave up 126, but you also don't have Wemby and Castle and whatnot, right? Like, you go to the Grizzlies game, right? You have these games that, you need to do a better job of finding that balance, right? Like, that Hawks game. Perfect example of what that can do for you. But you go back to the Memphis game. Again, De'Aaron Fox, 26 points, 3 assists. And you almost lost. There were times where you looked like you were about to lose that game, right? And Harrison Barnes hit some huge shots down the play and stuff. But Harrison Barnes gave you 23, still gave you 3 assists. Luke Cornett had 3 assists. Your leading assist maker was Devin Vassell with 5. But here's the thing. At least in this game, you had balanced numbers. Olynyk 3, Sohan 2, Keldon Johnson 2, right? Garcia 2, right? You had 23 assists to 9 turnovers. Again, your turnover to assist ratio was better, right? But again, I want to see that. I understand that, again, the old Spurs ways is tiresome, but to this day, it's still proven. The team that usually gets 30 assists usually wins the game. Now, obviously, there are outliers, even the Memphis game, right? Memphis had 30 assists, but they also had 14 turnovers, all that stuff, right? And they were just down people. But most teams, if you move the basketball, right, and you go, you can even just do this as a test. Go look at all the games at the end of the day today. Go look at the teams that had the most assists. Usually they're winning. Right, because they're moving the basketball, they're generating easier offense, keeping things, which is just really odd given the Spurs and the Spurs' nature and history and all that stuff. And yes, again, you got Mitch Johnson, you got a lot, De'Aaron Fox again is more of that isolation scorer. He's more of the go get a bucket guy rather than hey, I'm gonna shred teams. But that Atlanta game. And he's had games throughout his career where he has that balance. I'm not saying he has to average 9 assists a game, but it'd be nice. Can he give us 6 a game? Right? Keep guys involved, especially especially right now. You don't have Castle, you don't have Harper, you don't have Wemby. You need guys to elevate. You need guys to play to the level. You need to keep your teammates involved and engaged and focused, and guys hitting shots and building confidence and all that stuff. If it's just De'Aaron Fox dribbling the air out of the basketball, and then again you're bailing out the defense. If I'm sagging off Julian Champagnie and I want to come and help, I know I can, because I know you're not going to kick it out to Julian Champagnie. I'm not worried about it. I know you're about to isolate. I know what you're about to do, because I can tell by your actions and the tape and the history, right? Like, we need to see, again, more ball movement. I need to see the Spurs, 17 assists to 19 turnovers. Like, you're not winning very many games that way, right? You're not winning any games that way, right? Like, you got to at least be in the mid 20s, at least at 25 to 27 range, somewhere in that regard, right? Like, and even when everybody comes, because passing can also be contagious, right? Like, you get somebody that's moving the basketball and sharing the basketball and picking teams apart, that makes, oh man, look, another open pass, right? You create those highlights and you get those moments, the crowd starts getting hyped, and you get the yam dunk, and you get all, like, you can create that you can create that momentum shift and that momentum change just by swinging the basketball. You see it all the time. Like a lot of like ESPN highlights are created by a pass, by a play. Obviously there's I got to steal, run down the court doing some like windmill dunk or something, but you see a lot of them, like where a guy yams on everybody. It's usually like a lob or something like that, or it's usually a pass. And, like, again, like you need to do a better job of playing as a team, particularly on the offensive side of things. I mean, Spurs have been excellent. They've been one of the best offensive teams in basketball. They've been one of the better defense teams in basketball. But, that's also with Stephon Castle, who's giving you, 8 assists a night. And Dylan Harper was a 15-5-5 guy off the bench before he got hurt. And then Wemby, he can do things and make plays and do all that stuff, right? Like, so you don't have those guys. So you need to either A, have Fox become more of a playmaker, which I just don't necessarily see, or B, you need to do it by committee. And, have those games where, everyone's trickling in 3 to 5. You have Fox with 5 and Barnes with 3 and Cornette with 3 and, Vassell with 4. And, it's like, okay, we got 20 assists just in our starters, and then Keldon's giving you 3, and then Olynyk's giving you 3, and like you look up, it's like, okay, you got 26 assists, somewhere in that range. Like, that's what we need to see the Spurs kind of play more of that traditional basketball, moving the basketball, a lot more ball movement. It just seems like there's a lot more just guys standing around. Like, it's just it's frustrating, right? Because it's like this team can be better, and we saw it again. We saw it in the Atlanta game, right? But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Also, not, we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.